You did not lose yourself all at once. It happened slowly. One small comment that made you doubt yourself, one moment where you apologized for something that was not your fault, one day where you realized you had stopped trusting your own feelings entirely. You started walking on eggshells without noticing when you learned to. You started making yourself smaller to keep the peace, and somewhere in all of that shrinking, you lost the thread back to who you actually were. If any part of that sounds familiar, I want you to know something before we go any further. What happened to you was not your fault, and healing from it is possible. These are the 3 steps that will help you get there. Step 1 is understanding what was actually done to you. Most people who have experienced narcissistic abuse spend a long time blaming themselves. They replay conversations in their heads wondering what they did wrong, what they could have said differently, why they were never enough. And that self-blame is not an accident. It was planted deliberately. Narcissistic abuse works by systematically dismantling your ability to trust your own perception of reality. The technical term for this is gaslighting, but the lived experience of it is far simpler and far more devastating than any term can capture. It is being told over and over again, in ways both obvious and incredibly subtle, that what you felt was wrong, that what you saw did not happen, that your memory is unreliable, that you are too sensitive, that you are the problem. By the time most people leave a narcissistic relationship, they have been so thoroughly disconnected from their own inner voice that they genuinely do not know what is true anymore. And that is exactly where healing has to begin, not with forgiveness, not with moving on, but with the simple, radical act of believing yourself again. Start by writing down your experiences exactly as you remember them. Not to show anyone, not to build a case, just to give yourself the experience of putting your truth on paper and letting it exist without someone immediately telling you that you are wrong. This practice alone, done consistently, begins to rebuild the connection between you and your own perception that narcissistic abuse spent months or years breaking down. Step 2 is grieving what you lost and what you never actually had. This is the step most people skip, and it is the reason so many people get stuck. When you leave a narcissistic relationship, you are not just grieving the end of a relationship. You are grieving something more complicated and more painful than that. You are grieving the person you thought they were, the relationship you believed you had, and the version of yourself you were before it all began. The person who hurt you showed you a version of themselves at the beginning that was warm, attentive, and made you feel more seen than you had ever felt in your life. That person was not entirely real. They were a carefully constructed version designed to draw you in. And grieving, that means grieving something that was never fully true, which is one of the most disorienting kinds of grief there is. Give yourself permission to feel all of it, the anger, the sadness, the embarrassment, the love that is somehow still there even when you know it should not be. All of those feelings are valid. All of them are part of the process. The grief does not mean you are weak. It means you are human, and moving through it, not around it, is the only way to the other side. Step 3 is rebuilding your identity from the inside out. Narcissistic abuse does not just hurt you, it rewrites you. It convinces you that your needs are too much, your feelings are unreliable, and your worth is something that has to be constantly earned and can be taken away at any moment. Rebuilding from that is not about reading the right books or following the right advice. It is about the daily practice of returning to yourself. This means starting to notice what you actually like, separate from what you were told to like or approved for liking. It means spending time alone and learning to be comfortable with your own company again. It means setting one small boundary and watching the world not end when you do. It means choosing relationships, even small, everyday ones, where you feel safe enough to be honest. It also means being patient with yourself in a way that might feel unfamiliar. Recovery from narcissistic abuse is not linear. There will be days that feel like enormous progress and days that feel like you are back at the beginning. That is not failure. That is healing. The path is not a straight line. But every single day that you choose to return to yourself is a day that the damage loses a little more of its power over you. You are not too broken to heal. You are not too far gone to find your way back. The person you were before all of this happened is not gone. They are just buried under a lot of pain that was never yours to carry in the first place. Step 1. Believe yourself again. Step 2. Grieve everything you lost, including what was never real. Step 3. Come back to yourself one small, honest day at a time. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen. And the life waiting for you on the other side of this healing is more peaceful, more real, and more yours than anything you experienced inside that relationship. You deserve that life, and you are already on your way to it. If this video spoke to something you have been carrying, please share it with someone who needs to hear that healing is possible. Subscribe for more content like this every week, and drop a comment below telling me where you are in your healing right now. You do not have to share details. Just tell me you are here. That is enough, and I will see you in the comments.